This is more about living through the coronavirus epidemic. Here I have been posing as a modern-day Samuel Pepys, keeping a journal during the times of the coronavirus epidemic in America in the year 0 CE. Today, I thought of another approach, namely, the fireside chat. Franklin Roosevelt made this famous during the Great Depression. He'd come over the radio addressing the American people in an informal manner, trying to reassure them, telling them that the terrible times would come to an end, that prosperity would return, thanks to the programs of the New Deal. A further, subtle advantage of the radio, Roosevelt's debilitating polio, could not be seen. The New Deal did not end the Depression. It took the Second World War to do that. But the fireside chats were a success for the four-term president. Years later, another Democrat, Jimmy Carter, decided that he'd have some fireside chats. There was a crippling shortage of oil. This time he came to the people on television, wearing a sweater and a grin, telling people to conserve energy where they could, use candles instead of light bulbs, ride bicycles instead of cars. This was not well received, and the chats were a disaster for this one-term president. He came across as weak and addled. But they might work for me on the internet, a podcast, if I knew what one was. Another drawback, I'm not the president, I'm just a citizen, so I would not be talking policy. I'd be saying things like, "Hey, how's it going? Are your hands getting dry?" I decided to shelve the fireside chat and return to diary mode. Back in the bosom of my journal, I get a sense that tides have turned. Many people are fed up with the governor sitting in his car, the engine idling, as well as his expert, the soft-spoken, ultra-sincere lady doctor. Her stock is really plunging. These people don't want to hear any more daily media conferences or any more numbers. They've had it with the numbers. And they want to do what they want to do and accept the consequences. They are way past being fed up with the government telling them what to do. In spite of this, the governor still feels that he is at the wheel of his car, that he's in charge, and as he says, if you have any objections, bring it. I can take it. I'm a big boy. I understand that it is well nigh impossible for any government official to give up or give back power, but in this case I think the governor would be well advised to do it. I don't think people would revolt, nothing dramatic like that. I think they would just start to ignore him and his experts. He could hold his conferences and issue his edicts, and they would not listen or heed, only do as they pleased. The governor and his models are looking not cautious or deliberate, but foolish. I think people are looking at him and seeing a VUF, a very useful fool. In the face of this, the governor has turned defensive. He says that everything he does, all policy, is on a pro-life basis, and that applies to all stages of life, from conception to advanced old age. It's all precious to him. His first concern, he says, is to protect all life. Now, against that devil, the coronavirus. The governor is also running ads to shore up his position, praising the people, asking them for their continued cooperation, insisting that we have to move ahead gradually, carefully. As for the trumpet, he continues to blow. Like the amps in Spinal Tap, he's set on 11. He can't wait for the greatest economy in the world to be up and running once again. He says it will happen, more sooner than later, and the way he says it, it is more of a mandate than hope. I sometimes try to describe where I am in this, which is mainly in the dark. What about everyone else? As far as I can tell, that covers the entire spectrum. We know people who literally stay at home in self-imposed quarantine. If they need anything, they have it delivered, and they sanitize all of that. There are many masked moderates. And there are those who treat the virus as a joke and the lockdown as a repressive, insulting infringement on their freedom, constitutionally guaranteed. They don't just resent the restrictions, they ignore them. There is a deep split across the population. As for the truth and the right path, oh boy, I don't know it. For now, I say the heck with the fireside chat and the ghost town. I'm going to listen to Running Down a Dream, even if Tom Petty is dead.